I'm Suzanne Rath, and you're listening to Endures, your podcast for sustainable high performance. I just finished reading this really interesting piece on microshifting, and I'm not sure if you've heard of the concept before. I certainly hadn't, but basically it's a term used to describe when you can organize your working day around other tasks. So say you have to pick up the kids or you have an appointment. And what I found really interesting about this article was it was framing it as a really negative thing. It was framing it as an expectation as opposed to a choice. And I know that in my life, I certainly choose to microshift. You know, I might take the dog to the vet during the day. I might organize a training session. I might go and do some recovery, get in the hyperbaric chamber or do an ice bath. I might go to an appointment myself. And I do that, one, because I'm very scheduled with my time, and two, because I really value that freedom and autonomy. And to me, that ability to do focused blocks of work is so important. It enables us to work around our optimum energy times. It's something I share with a lot of clients. It enables us to really get the most important work done. But here's the caveat. Number one, values fill voids. So when in life we focus on what we really want, such as freedom, we become aware of all the places that we don't have it. So freedom is really important to me. And so if I focus on that, there's an exact equal and opposite effect. I can become aware of where I feel tethered, maybe by my business or by other responsibilities. And so it's on me to really focus on the positives and where this is a good impact in my life. And then number two is this notion of autonomy. So for those who really value autonomy, this concept of microshifting might be really appealing. And as a business owner, as somebody who works in an industry within healthcare that is traditionally very dependent on billable hours, so I can relate to all of you accountants and lawyers, etc., out there with some of this struggle and some of this productivity decline, we know that autonomy really has to come with a number of caveats. And so autonomy and this concept of microshifting is excellent if we have set outcomes that we want to achieve, if we have transparency, if we have maybe improved communication, if we have clear performance measures. Where autonomy is not so good is where it becomes a bit of a free-for-all. Now, we do a tool in our clinics about every year, and it's a really great tool that measures motivators. It's by Jade Scott. It is specific to healthcare. And the theory is that our motivators actually change about every 6 to 12 months. And again, this comes back to this concept of values filling voids. So in our lives, we might really want autonomy. And I've seen this with team members who've all of the autonomy in the world that potentially haven't earned it or aren't actually working for the business or aren't maybe delivering on the deliverables, who then really start to value more responsibility or investment in their learning. Say, for example, if you were saving to buy a house, you might really value money. And then when you have the house and you have the mortgage and all the rest of it, you might start to value responsibility a bit more. So it's a really interesting thing to think about. I would love your concepts, your thoughts, your suggestions on this idea of microshifting. And when you feel autonomy, both in your life and in the workplace, is a really great thing and it's really deserved, and what autonomy really means to you, particularly as we start this new year and thinking about how we might want to design our work, our schedules, and our lives. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for more from Endures.